What's up guys, RoyalZProduction here, and today we're going to be talking about the most random music video I've ever filmed in my life. Now, why I say this music video is so random, well, let me put it to you this way. We had zero script, zero treatment, a green screen location for an hour that we showed up to 35 minutes late due to traffic. We had no idea what to do with the green screen, and it was also my very first time ever using a green screen for a music video. A last minute location that we shot at when we were leaving the green screen location. We had an open field with hay bales, a Mustang as a prop, a skate park at night, and a gas station where we parked the Mustang up. So now I think you have a good idea as to why I say that this is the most random and run and gun music video I've ever done in my life. Being that I was the creative director on set, there was still a lot of feedback on set from the artists and any of the extras that showed up for the set. It was just really amazing for me to think back about the actual shoot day and how we created a really cool final product that a lot of people seem to really like, and it was actually a way different editing style and style of shoot that I'm normally used to. So with all that being said guys, I'm going to be breaking down this music video very in depth for you guys as usual, as you normally see on my music video tutorials and other filmmaking tutorials. I'm going to be breaking down this music video over a voiceover. I'm going to be getting very in depth as I normally do in my music video behind the scenes and my filmmaking tips and tricks videos. So that's something you guys are just kind of used to at this point if you're a subscriber on this channel, which by the way, if you do not subscribe to this channel, consider clicking the subscribe button. I post a lot of really cool behind the scenes content and filmmaking tips and tricks. Alright, let's get right into this music video tutorial on how I shot WildNation's single, Gass'd Up.
Guess it's a go. The money, guess a go. Wait, I'm coming, little bro. They call me checks, not with the K.
Alright guys, so the very first scene that we shot was in the open field, so the only thing that we had as the background was the hay bales. This performance scene specifically was shot in 4K at 24 FPS at 50 shutter, 2.8 aperture with a variable ND filter because we were shooting in broad daylight, and I was using the 18-35 Sigma lens on the Lumix S1. So as you can see here, we weren't using a gimbal, I was actually handheld. And by listening to the song myself, I knew that this was going to be a very upbeat and choppy edit. So for these shots, I actually turned the in-body stabilization off. So for the most part, if I'm shooting in 24 FPS in handheld and I'm getting very, upbeat shots as you can see here. I mean, the shots are really crazy and I'm just kind of everywhere shooting handheld. It just kind of makes the energy flow a lot better and makes everything look a lot more hype. Alright, so the second shot that we got was actually shot in 4K at 60 FPS. If you're wondering how I shot in 60 FPS and 4K, the Lumix S1 as well as the Lumix GH5, which I used to use, actually offer 4K and 60 FPS. The reason for shooting 60 FPS is so that I can actually have the option to use this as slow motion. If I'm shooting in 60 FPS and I do want to slow-mo some of the clips down, I will turn the image stabilization on. So the image stabilization was turned on for these shots in specific. I did treat it like a performance scene, so as you can see, all of the artists are singing along to the song. So that is what a performance scene is called in a music video. It's where the artists are singing along to the song and we have a speaker playing in the background so they can actually sing along. And then when I go to edit the music video, I can actually sync up their lips and the song in the real time to the actual mastered version of the audio. In this situation, we just weren't really at this location for very long. Rather than shooting two 24 FPS clips, I would rather shoot one 24 FPS clip and then a second performance scene in the exact same spot, but shoot in 60, so I have the option to pull some of those clips as B-roll fillers. Speaking of fillers in videos, if you're a videographer or photographer, you should check out my online store, which I'll leave a link in the description for. I have a few free Lightroom preset packs and LUTs, as well as a 1-hour consult call where you, as a creative, can ask me anything filmmaking related, as well as a 3-month filmmaking mentorship where you can send me your videos and I will give you an in-depth professional opinion on them to make you a more aware filmmaker and progress a lot quicker. Alright everyone, let's get right back into this video. Alright, so this was the third performance scene and the last performance scene of this location. So we had Marcus squatted up on top, or I guess standing / squatting on top of one of the hay bales. I thought this would just be a really funny shot and just kind of brings the hay bales into the visual. Again, extremely random because it has no significance to the actual video itself. I shot this in 4K 60 FPS again so I can pull some of these clips as slow motion B-roll. So when you shoot in 60 FPS on any camera, you can actually slow motion the clip by 50%. So you can use that as B-roll. So you can use that as basically a filler for the music video. Okay, so the last scenes that we captured here were actually shot in 120 FPS. So very slow motion. This is strict B-roll. So this is not a performance scene. The artists are not singing along to the song. This is strictly just slow motion to lay over top as a filler. I actually use these two shots as intro scenes for the final music video edit. Okay, so the I'm sorry guys, this is just like the most random thing. I think Muna just told everybody to run full speed at the camera and see how it looked, and I just shoot in slow motion. So I yelled from across the field, all right, 3, 2, 1, go! And everybody just booked it towards the cameras. As you can see here too, Ty Rock just jumps it in front of the camera and pretends to like punch it, and I think he actually like literally flew right into me while holding the camera. So I mean, this was a perfect outro shot. I actually used this for the outro of the video. It was just hilarious. So on the street bordering the open field that we were just shooting the very first scene at, we decided to use the Mustang that we had for the day as a prop, and we decided to shoot Trey and Howard in front of the Mustang. So basically parks the Mustang, he gets out of the Mustang, and then he starts doing a performance scene. So for this scene, we actually shot it in 60 FPS in 4K. So we have the option to use a slow-mo. The second scene that we did in this location was me on the gimbal, which I'll show a little BTS shot of. As you can see, I'm running next to the car with the gimbal, and it makes it look like, you know, it's like a rolling shot, like they're driving. I just told Howard in the passenger seat there to vibe along to the song, and I told Trey to kind of do as many hand movements as possible when doing this scene, and it turned out actually really dope.
Kid, I feel clean, white watch jeans, white polo tee unbuttoned. Hop in the whip, looking for keys, good thing that shit push button. Wow. I gotta leave, it's 40 degrees, shit, I can't touch
nasty, yeah. Bodies in mine like a melly, mixing the molly with Remy. I ain't a killer, don't tempt me.
Based on the beach, a bit heavy. Watch how I body the levy. Keep when I close like I'm Fetty. Y'all look surprised.
And now we are at the second location. So we had a green screen location that we showed up to extremely late to due to traffic downtown. We rented it out for an hour, but we were only here for maybe 25 minutes. So it was kind of a crunch. I got my camera set up very quickly and tossed it on a tripod. Then we hit the lights for the green screen and we were good to go. So it was really clutch that the green screen room actually had lights, professional lighting already set up. You just flick a switch, turn them on, and we're good to go. So we didn't have to set up any of my Dracast panel lights at all. When you are shooting green screen footage for music videos, really for anything, very important, especially if there's going to be a lot of movement within the green screen footage, you need to bump your shutter speed up. Okay, so let's say you're shooting at 24 FPS for a performance scene. The artist is standing there and maybe moving around and singing. Instead of shooting it at a traditional 50 shutter, you need to actually keep doubling up the shutter until you see no motion blur, because at 50 you're going to get a very natural motion blur, which is kind of like a cinematic look, but that's not going to work for green screen because it's going to be really difficult to kind of clean up all of the keying, as you are going to want to switch the colors and the background of that green screen when you go into edit. I started at 50 shutter, shooting 24. I doubled that up to 100 shutter, doubled that to 200, doubled that to 400, and then I doubled the 400 shutter to 800. So you keep doubling your shutter speed. That's very important. Now your aperture doesn't matter. I had it set at I think 2.8 here using the Canon 24-70. Here's some examples here of the artist. As you can see, there's zero motion blur. It almost looks a little unnatural, but guys, this is what's going to give you the nicest and most professional and clean looking green screen video. I thought it was most important to get the individual shots out of the artists that were on the song before we actually got the group shots. If we had time, we would do the group shots. As you can see, what I'm doing is I have the camera on my tripod and I'm using the 24-70mm zoom lens, and I'm actually zooming in and out of checks as he's in front of the camera to the beat of the song. I felt that this actually created just an extra effect where it took away any sort of keyframing that I would have to do in post, and it just gave a very natural and very cool, consistent look.
It is not a taxi, foreign bitches and they in the backseat. Paparazzi trying to take a picture while these naked bitches getting nasty. Yeah, bodies in mine like a melly.
So moving on to Trey and Marcus's part, they basically just did performance scenes in front of the camera. We shot them both again at 24 FPS. Now it was time to bring all three of the featured artists onto the screen together. So I did shoot this at 60 FPS. Again, I kept doubling my shutter speed from 125, and I kept moving it up and up until I was at around that 800 to 1000 mark, just so there wasn't any motion blur as I was explaining earlier on. So after that, we had about 5 minutes left. So I thought that this was a good time to bring every single extra into the video, as well as the 3 featured artists. So this actually turned out really good too. A lot of these group shots turned out awesome. Everybody, again, was very high energy, which helped so much for shooting this music video.
Gass'd Up, behind the scene, Gass'd Up, you know, we out here, we doing RoyalZ, you know, WildNation, you know, the youngins, you know, they out here doing their thing, you know. Yeah. It's our time, man.
We were actually just exiting the library where we just shot the green screen stuff, and I don't know, we saw this wall and everything, and it looked pretty sweet. So I thought we'd run a performance scene, and we'll run one, I think at 4K 60. So I'm gonna go back and forth from shooting like kind of a very raw handheld performance scene clip. I'm gonna focus in on the artist doing some performance stuff too, but since we're shooting in 60 FPS, I'll be able to slow everything down and use it as B-roll as well.
They call me checks, not with the K. X coming twos, hottest nigga, but she already knew. Bitches love it when I walk in the room.
Body kept cool,
Drip so frozen,
double cup sip,
got me slow motion.
cook in the trap.
Whip up the potion, you don't wanna know what's set in motion. I don't got time for the honeys, necesito todo el dinero. Viajar a Rio de Janeiro. I'm tryna become a ruler, I'm gonna need me a jeweler. Lot of niggas feeling hot, might got a whip by the cooler. I started drowning the pill, I started popping Somali. No, I ain't talking Somali. Shout out to my nigga Wally, shout out to my nigga Tone. Watch how we step on the gas, always gonna look for a guy.
Oh, shit. What?
Alright, so we're gonna be shooting second last scene here. We're just at a skate park. Why are you laughing at me? Photo bombing me, man. But as I was saying, I just grabbed a plastic bag, attached a small rig to the camera, and we got the bowling P1 just attached here. I don't really care if this gets wet. I think it'll be fine. But my camera, I'm just gonna lift this over, and it's just gonna reveal lens here, and then I got
this is the special lens. It actually has captures 4K.
Okay.
We usually use it when we're doing a dark scene like this. You have the
Right.
light. I usually help Anderson out, but today I'm letting him take over.
Alright, thanks.
I don't want to say too much.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for
I got
the
you,
input.
bro. Yeah, no problem. I'm still freezing. I need more help.
Yo, we shot Simmer like what? It was a few months ago.
Diamonds on me, I can start freezing. Feel like every boogie need a hoodie season. Has a man, but she can't stop cause she feeling.
Yo, what, like 20K plus views?
You know the vibes.
Jeez, how old are you?
I'm 14.
14 years old, man. That's crazy. Anyways, okay, we're gonna get these performance scenes real quick. We're gonna start with the 24 FPS shot and get these shots done real quick because I'm pretty cold. So yeah, we'll get right to it.
Might just kill her, mama. I'm killing the mama. PTSD when she bringing the drama. Done with this shit like I could be a plumber. Kill off my demons outside Dalai Lama. Been good in English, I fuck with the commas. Say that you love me, but really a fan. I think you in love with my mans. Ah shit. Back on my
Alright, so this was the very last scene of the night. We had been shooting literally all day long. So we parked our prop Mustang up at the gas station that we used early on for some of the shots. So we only ran one performance scene here of just the artist singing along to the song, but I did shoot it in 60 FPS. So again, I did have the option to use any of these clips as slow motion B-roll. Pretty much right after the very first scene of this music video that we shot, we basically just told each other that we're gonna make this the most random music video ever and just shoot in the most random locations, random spots, and do the most random things in front of the camera and just see what comes out of it. So literally the definition of guerrilla shooting and run and gun shooting, but as long as you have a creative mind on set and you're collaborating with the artists that are on set, you can really pull off a run and gun video, and many people have done it. It hasn't been just me. There's been so many run and gun videos that have so many views that are so well put together. Alright guys, so that is a wrap for the most random music video I've ever shot to date. It went really well. The final product was really dope. If you guys want to check out the final music video, you can check that in the link in the description. I'll leave the link down there. If you are new to the channel, consider clicking that subscribe button, as I post a lot of music video tips and tricks to benefit you as a filmmaker, and I just post as much knowledge and free content as I can to benefit up and coming directors. That's a wrap. 2 music videos for the weekend that we were here, plus 1 music video teaser and a bunch of photos that Kyle was doing. And Kyle was running the behind the scenes throughout the whole weekend as well. Big shout out to Muna, set up all the locations, had the treatments and everything. Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah, that's an amazing guy, man.
Hey bro, he's cool.
He's very, very cool. Hey, bro, follow this guy, man. He's the best video guy in Western Canada, pretty much.
100%.
Really
no
affordable. Really affordable. Nah, he's really good. Amazing dude. Amazing.
Like Simmer, go follow me right now.
Come on, see.
Youngest rapper in the game right now, man.
I'm 12, yo.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for everything, honestly.
Yeah, of course,
Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot to Kyle as well. I mean,
Yeah, man.
Carl, thank you, Anastasia.
Yeah, for everything. Y'all really
Kyle,
do
for
for us
the
all the
shit
time.
Yeah, so that's a wrap basically for behind the scenes. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
Peace.
WildNation.
Dark moonlight, halo around you, looking like an angel, but don't try to save me.